Let's see if I'm live. Okay, let's see. Hello. Okay, looks like there is some problem with the voice. Perfect. Looks like. Yeah, just let's see. Hello. Right. Hey everyone. So I'm back to live streaming. I think it's been more than a year. Hey Prashant, thanks for joining. Can you confirm that if you're able to hear me? Uh, Hopefully yes, but just to make sure. So yeah, I streamed last time in 2023, 2020, this 2025. Yeah, so we are still confused with the year. And last year was different. So I was in 2023. I was traveling a lot. I did a lot of streaming and got burnout. And then 24, I decided to take it slow. I did few conferences and then, of course, few things like streaming took a backseat. And this year, I'm not traveling anywhere. So I'm not traveling for any conferences. I'm maybe traveling for my work related things, but not for conferences. So I thought, like, let's do live streams again because I love to do it. And I had an interesting topic as well. So I thought, like, why not to bring or build a GitHub action? So I remember, like, few days back, we were recording our podcast, and so the podcast was related to how to build VS Code extension, and it will be published next month. And we had a very good conversation with one of our guests, Elio, who have built CMS system for VS Code. So if you are not aware, there is Front Matter CMS, which is available. Hey, Jeevan, thanks for joining. So Front Matter CMS, which is available as a VS Code extension. I use it. I use it because I have my Astro website, and whenever I have to write a blog post, I just open front end front matter CMS and then start writing. And it has nice AI integration as well. It can recommend you like if you a different topic for like your blog post, right? But you have to be a sponsor to get some features, but it works perfectly when if you're not a sponsor. And then yeah, let's so what we're discussing about is like I want to build an VS Code extension as well sometime. And most of the time, I think most of us want to build something, right? And you haven't done it because probably you're too busy or you have an excuse that, oh, I don't have time, even though you just don't want to do it, probably. So yeah, and that's how VS Code, this GitHub action actually happened. So I had this idea last year where I wanted to build, or not wanted to build, but I wanted to have this sponsorship, right? So let's go back to let me share my screen. Share the screen. This is so let's see. So most of you might be aware of GitHub sponsorship. Let's see what it is. So here you can see sponsoring, right? I mean, you can actually go ahead and sponsor open source developers on GitHub. And hey, Sunny, thank you so much. Happy to see you as well. So I started like sponsoring few developers like in 2020 when I was doing a lot of GitHub open, or you can say open source contribution in 2019, but 2020 life happened, and then I realized that hey, I won't be able to like give enough time now to open source. So what are the other ways to contribute? And then this GitHub sponsorship came in, GitHub sponsors, you can say. And I thought like, let's support via money, right? I mean, if I'm not able to do it, let's support someone else who is doing it. So that's how I started sponsoring my first developer, and then eventually I started sponsoring more and more developers. I think as of today, I sponsor 31 this month because I think I did six sponsorship uh, for Christmas, which is one time sponsorship, which I generally like. I've been doing it for 2 years now, where I distribute like $50 per developer. I think up to $300. So that's how it started. And last year I approached GitHub and said, hey, why not to like gamify a little bit of sponsoring or sponsorship? And then idea was, why not to have green squares whenever you sponsor someone? And of course, like I created a doc and very nice, like how it should look like, and um, how actually the people or the open source developers who are getting help, or the projects, you can say the projects who are getting sponsorship, can also give a shout out back to you, like who is sponsoring, right? By giving commits. So let's say if you give $5 per month to any open source project, you get a commit for every month. Like you are doing doing open source contribution in some other ways, but it's not code, but it's money. And then this year, when I had some free time, I was like, let's go ahead and build this GitHub action on my own. And so that's how this idea came in of creating GitHub green squares. And I thought like, but how to build it, right? That's the first thing. I had never done it before. And then I started reading about it. I had a little bit idea last year when I was learning about how to use GitHub Actions, or how you can create reusable actions uh, on your own. So yep, I had a little bit idea, but not full-fledged that how I can actually just go ahead and build an entire GitHub action on my own, right? So let's go ahead and take the main bit. Uh, this is Node.js code. I mean, this is actually Node.js code written in TypeScript. And so the idea behind this GitHub action is I can show you how it looks like. I think these trees, and then how you can actually use it as well. So this is called sponsorship green squares, and this is published on GitHub Marketplace as well. So you can see it from here, view on Marketplace, and from here you see the snippet. This is how you can use it, or you can just use like this. So you can say, okay, use latest version, and it will tell you like how you can use it. So you can just add this into your YAML file, um, and then you have to pass GitHub token. So you can pass like pat, and we also have a parameter called allow add to readme. So you can also add this information to readme, and it will be integrated, right? So in your README, you will get, okay, you are sponsoring this users, and you will get this number of commits as well against your main repository wherever you add this action to. You just need to have a README file is in case you need you allow add to README. Otherwise, it will just make a commit. So let's say if you sponsor 10 developers, it will make 10 commits uh, for each developer, like how much you are sponsoring. So this is the action, and now let's go back to the code base, and we can start from like I'll just go through this code, and then we can start creating our own from scratch. So if you see, as I said, like it's a TypeScript code, nothing fancy. It uses actually a GraphQL query because this sponsorship data was not available on GitHub AutoGet, or you can say AutoKit, which is available to get all the information. So I had to go ahead and use it via the GraphQL API, and then it makes a call. It takes all the sponsorship data, and then it converts it to an array. And then what I'm doing is, after getting this array, I'm also checking like for duplicates. So this is one thing. Of course, this can be abused, right? I mean, it's possible that someone just wants more commits, and they just keep running this action daily, and then they get like hundreds of commits. So I just wanted to make sure that no one can abuse this. So I just added the duplicate commit check, and if everything passes, I mean, there will be an entry, or there will be a commit which is made. So commit message is something which comes from here. We pass it as a string, and yeah, so you can see it will take sponsorship amount, currency paid to like whoever these developer is, or this project is, and month and a year. So it will be always unique, month and year combination. So that's why I just made it like this. Uh, let's go back, and now let's try to create your own, right? So let's start a new action. So to create a new GitHub action, which you can publish on Marketplace, you can actually start from this template, which is called Actions TypeScript. So you can actually just clone this for this repository, and then start writing your own action. So this is the default template, and it has improved a lot. I think I saw some actions where there are some checks which are missing. It's a very basic action, but if you use this template, there are so many checks which happen. So let's go ahead and start from this one, right? So you can say, okay, use this template, create a new repository. So what I want to build, let's see. So I have another GitHub repository, or an API basically, which I was thinking of converting into action. So let's go back. New repositories. It's yeah, this one. So I have a Garmin API, which is written in Fast API basically, um, uh, and this actually is port of this Python Garmin Connect. So I wanted to expose this an API, and then you can just call your or fetch your data from Garmin. If you are not aware, Garmin does not allow you to have an API. It's an hack, and because it's only allowed for business purpose. So yeah, it's complicated. Hey Stefan, I'm good. It's Friday, so I'm almost done. End of the day, and then I'm going to Hamburg tomorrow to meet a friend. How about you? So yep. So this API can get some of the data. I think I wrote some of the action, and then that it gets your activity data, body composition, steps data. You can also get steps data, get heart rate data. So the idea was, why not to use this API to get the Garmin data and add it in your profile, right? I mean, if you know, you can create a new repository with your username/username. So let's go back and let me show this to you. So if I click on my profile, you will be able to see some information. So hey, it says, uh, oh, nice. Uh, so here, right? So you can see, yeah, you see some post. Okay, this is my developer journey story on GitHub README, GitHub. This is Angular course, and then some sponsorship data. This is empty right now because for this month, this will run again next month, and then the data will be added, because I have this duplicate check, so I couldn't make it work. I ran the GitHub action like after adding, or before I added this in feature, or this feature got added where you can actually add it to README. Shout out to one of the contributors, Siddharth, who did that. But yeah, you can actually create a repository called user/user. Let me show you my repository. Yeah. So it has a README. So if you see, there's nothing. That's a README, and then there are some workflows, and one of the workflows is add sponsorship. So this is something added which will run at the end of every month. So 30th. Oh, this is interesting because February there is no 30th, so I have to probably run it manually, but I'll take care of it. And then there is something called there's another action for updating my YouTube videos. So whatever YouTube videos will be published, it will be linked to my GitHub README. And then there is one README which actually takes the feed from my dev to profile and then adds it into my GitHub action. And there is an this one I think activity GitHub activity README, which is a nice action created by James, and it will add this information like what are your recent GitHub activity. So I'm just fetching top five, and these are my recent video videos. But yeah, this is nice. You can actually have this as a profile whenever someone comes to your uh, uh, GitHub page or GitHub profile. You can show all this information. So I just wanted to let's include Garmin API. I mean, because I've been into running lately. If you're connected on any social media, you may see. I mean, I'm not. I hope I'm not spamming anyone because this is something always bothers me if I'm doing it too much. But so far, like people loved that I'm sharing my journey. I'm being open about my struggles, like why I started running, and then how it is changing my life as well, right? And I feel good when someone comes to me and said, "Hey, I saw like you started running, and I'm also picking up running now." And because I've been always vocal about like prioritizing your health, and they also think that okay, this is very important. You have to be like very take your health very seriously, which is I think it's a must if you want to go for a long run. I mean, if you want to live healthy, you have to be active. So it's not necessarily you have to run because of course people can have different issues, right? I mean, some of my friends are into bouldering. So Daniel Rowe, he's a good friend, and we met several times last month, and then he was always like, "Let's go to bouldering." And unfortunately, I cannot go for bouldering because I have some issue with my shoulder. Hope this it will be sorted this year, and maybe me and Daniel can go for bouldering next year or this year somewhere. Though I would love to. It's not like I don't like bouldering. It's just my shoulder. But yeah, so this information, Garmin API will give this information, and then I can add it into my repository. So this is the idea. This is what I wanted to build. So let's see. So the first step, of course, you have to fork this repository, or you can just create use it as a template because you can publish a repository as a template as well. And to give you some information, I already did it for one of the repositories, which is Garmin API. So let me show you. So if I go to my repositories, and, Garmin API, this is public template. So if you see this, it says public template. So in case like if you want this API to be available for yourself, you can also do this. So you can just click on use this template, create a new repository, and then start adding. You can publish it anywhere. You can publish it on maybe Railway. You can publish it on Azure or Google Cloud. The only information which you need to add is you need to provide Git your Garmin API username and password because, as I said, like there's no API, so it works on username and password, and you don't have to do it every time. It actually generates a key and it saves this key, which can be used for 30 days. So you don't have to log in like every day or every time you fetch this API, which is otherwise it can be flagged, right? I mean, Garmin can close your account basically for using this token or using like trying to log in multiple times. Good. Let's go back to this. Create a new repository. I'll say, okay, hey, I want to use this template and I want to create a new repository. Of course, on it, I want to be myself. And uh, what I'm going to do is, uh, we do readme. Okay, so I'm not good at with the naming anyways. So I say, okay, this is Garmin to readme. So what I'm going to do is call this API, get this information, add it to read. Are a DevOps. So, what do you mean a DevOps? So, So I want this to be public. I don't want this code to be only with me. I'll just move. I think auto installed. These are auto installed. Docker for GitHub Copilot, Git repository. Okay, cool. So I'm cloning this repository now, and let's. So you can see it says you can publish this action to the GitHub Marketplace because, of course, GitHub can figure out, hey, this looks like a GitHub action, and what are the important things when you have to publish a publish an action as a GitHub action or on the marketplace is there's a file called action.yaml. So let me show you this file. Because if you see the code is nothing but, as I said, a TypeScript code. So what makes it publishable on GitHub Marketplace? This file. So action.yaml, what you can do is, of course, you can provide some information like, of course, what is the name, what is the description, who is the author, and then you can give some branding, which will be available on your on your workflow, which is published on Marketplace. And then you can also do like you can pass inputs, and you can also return the outputs. For example, let's go back to the workflow which I created. Your repository sponsorship inspire. So you will find that there is an action.yaml here as well. So uh, I mean, I just added myself as author and then did some description. So it says this action fetches the sponsorship of a user organization and commits the data to the repository. And then I needed some input. So what the input is, I needed GitHub username. And by default, it's actually GitHub repository owner. And probably I'll just remove this because I think I was adding it while adding some test code. And then I just need a value called allow add to readme, but I'm not returning anything because I just wanted to commit this information, right? I mean, there's nothing which I wanted to return back to the user. And we can actually do the same with the new action which we create. We just need input. Input would be your API or the URL which you need to call, and just add it to the readme. That's what we want to do. And you can provide like how this action will run. So I'm saying, okay, hey, it will be using node 20, and the main file is dist/index.js. Where is this file? Of course, let's come back. Let's go back and figure that out. So let's clone this. So I'm just going to use GitHub CLI, and so this is GitHub. Sorry, I'm just using VS Code Insider, but you can feel free to use any thing or any IDE you like. And just say, okay, let's close folder, and let's see if I can open terminal here. Let's start user story code. Okay, I'll do it later. And let's clone the repository. Nice. So now I can just open folder. This is our main readme. So this is the code which I want to work with. Okay, so I have everything. Yes, I trust the author because it's GitHub. And okay, so I have everything now, which is needed, the code, and now I can start working on it. And let's make some changes. So if you open the main.ts, this is where we are going to write our code. And wait.ts is just a like this is a starter template, so they had to add some code and they added this. So by default, it will do is it will take an input, it will just print, okay, this many milliseconds have been, we are waiting for this milliseconds, but to wait, there is a wait utility. That's it. This does nothing, just calls and set timeout. And let's do first thing first. We have to do yarn npm install. And remember, it uses your action uses node 20. but you don't have to. You can of course use whatever you want. Maybe I can change this action to use Node 22. So it has, if you see this, it has prettier installed, YAML, a linter for YAML installed, linter for Markdown installed. So much things which you don't have to worry about. Also, the setup you don't have to worry about. It also has everything you need to build your code. So package.json, and you can see where is the scripts? Yeah, here. So you can run test, you can run all, you can just run format, lint, whatever you want, right? And then you can also write bundle, which will just run package. So all scripts are already configured for us, and we just need to go ahead and write our code and make it work. So let's start changing few things. So I'll just go back to this input and say, hey Nazat, hey man, I'm good. How are you? Um, Nazat is a good friend. We met like during last year when I was in Istanbul for a few days, and he was nice enough to buy me a dinner. So thank you so much, and hope you had a good start for the rest for this 2025. So I will say this is Garmin, yeah, and I'll say okay, this is required. I don't have a default value, and let's add a description. So I'll say okay, Garmin API to Garmin API UI to fetch data from Garmin. See, so I'll just add, of course, shameless plug, but I will say, okay, hey, you can just look at this code and probably spot it. And okay, I need this to be true. Output, as I just want to add this to README. I don't need any output here as well, right? So I can skip this. And let's go back to src main.ts and let's start changing this. So first thing, of course, we need the input value. So I'll say, hey, this is Garmin API, but I have seen um, you can probably let's do this because this is going to be a secret. So I'll just say, okay, Garmin API URL, and I can take this as process variable. So you can pass it as an environment variable, which probably I can show you. Close. Open new window. I think I'm using this on this one, sponsorship green squares, because I was taking up API key, not API, but no, this is this folder. I set the right code. Oh, I still have this, but I need to remove. Okay, because I needed this one, right? So you see, I needed GitHub username, so I took get input GitHub underscore username, and then I'm using it with AutoKit to fetch the data. And I can just copy this and I'll say, okay, this is something which I need. And so AutoKit is something that's provided by GitHub itself, and you can use GitHub, AutoKit to do a lot of stuff. For example, in my case, I'm using it to fetch the commits. So if you see this, I'm calling get user data to get username, email, and name and email, which I need in this case as well because I need to commit this information. Now you can use your username and password, or we can also use the no reply one. For this case, I think I don't need my username and email because for GitHub sponsorship, I wanted my username and profile or my username and email to be used. So it's counted as commit against your profile. And here also, I'm just getting the commits using AutoKit. So AutoKit it's like a wrapper, which gives you all the data from GitHub API. So you can just directly use AutoKit, or You can also call GitHub CLI. A lot of people do that. I mean, even in my company, like if we have some code written where we are just calling GitHub CLI to fetch some information, because not everything is available via AutoKit. In my example, I was using also GitHub GraphQL APIs as well. So it's a mix and match. You have to always tinker around and see like what information is available there. So of course now we have this one. So I'll just make changes according to this. I'll say, okay, hey Garmin API URL. So take this data, and AutoKit will just have it right now, and then probably install. Uh, I think I have to install one more thing. So I have to install AutoKit, which comes from GitHub. Let's see. Just and I need to install this as well because it does not exist. So I'll say npm install and the rate of the git rest. And I can remove this state. I don't need this anymore. And as I said, like I don't need the output. And let's start removing some information. I'll say this is currently we need to call fetch. So let's say I can use some of the I have access to GitHub Copilot, and let's try to see like if GitHub Copilot can do this for me. Call fetch to GitHub data on API. Okay, so okay, it wrote some code for me. It says, okay, what I can do is you can just call await and fetch, native fetch. So I'm not using anything else, and then pass Garmin API URL, and now you can create for response and add this information, right? So let's remove this, and let's say, okay, if response is okay, add this, add the data to GitHub to README. Just say okay. Interesting. Come on, Copilot, help me. Nice. Okay, so it says okay. So if I have this response dot okay, so if I have response dot okay, then it will just okay, right now doing nothing, code.info. But I can of course get this code from the previous version. So I already have this written here. So what I have to do is I have to update the content. So what I need is uh, let's see, update readme. I can just copy this function and readme content. Let's create this as a separate function. I'll not here. And we can just drop whatever we don't need. So I don't need duplicate check. And I think I need this. And I need file system. So I just say, okay, use import this. So from file, I need read file sync. This is named. Okay, so let's see. I have this information which I don't want to new content. Okay, so I'm reading README part, which is readme.md. Now I'll say, okay, this is README. So this is the information which you have to put it into your README file. And between this and this, the data, that data will be written. So I'll say, okay, read file sync. Okay, the file is not found, so an exception is fine. And new content. Okay, so now this is important. So I have to see like what is the information which I'm getting from my API, and then readme content. That's good to me. And is there anything? Perfect. So let me go ahead and check my API because I don't want to expose the URL right now. It's posted on Railway, and then I have to pay for it. If someone tries to just scam or just make too many calls to this URL, I'll be broke. GitHub. Give me the URL. Settings. So what I will do is I'll get last activity. Let's see what is the response. Get last activity. So we'll just put it here. The data, not the actual API call. JSON. Okay, so this is the data. So this is the data which I'm getting from API. As I said, like I'm not going to share the API URL. You can just deploy your own and see how it looks like. So my last activity was, of course, this is where I lived. So I did some walk today because today is my rest day. I'm not running today. I did like 2 days, yesterday and day before, and it gives me all the information, right? So what was my time zone, HR time zone, like. And then there should be some information about like how much I walked. So this is local start time and time. So I did 10 minutes probably. And moving duration. So like distance 315 you see. So this is divided by 100. So it's like 300 meters. Yeah, probably 300 meters. And this was duration. And yeah, so this is good enough information, right? So I mean, I don't need everything, but it gives me enough information to see like what I was doing or what was my last activity. So of course I can say, hey, I was walking, and how much I walked is like this distance. So let's go ahead and use this as a test data. So here I need last activity. And what I can do is let's see if I'm able to do it. Mm, Let's ask Copilot, can you convert this data into like script? Yes. Um, okay. Let's use chat. Copilot chat. Open. Ask chat to do it for us. Can you convert this JSON or can you create uh, so I'm giving the context, so it will take it from here. 54. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. It works. And now I can use this type. So as I said, I don't need all the information, so I just drop some. Right? Yeah. So file and we'll accept changes. Duplicate identifier activity type. So I just drop some. I don't need activity type. Event type. I don't need the settings. So and I will convert this to. Let me just fast check into it. New the interface. Okay, so there is some activity, and what I needed is duration, distance, and activity name. So I just remove or just comment everything else until I figure out what I need to do with this. Summarized type. So remove this data last activity, which is okay. So this data is of type this. What is activity type? Let's see. To check activity type is okay. So there is a type key which says walking. Nice. I can remove it for now. I don't need this. Event type is okay. I don't need this. Okay. So I think we have a type available and we can work with this. I removed some information which I don't want for now. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, we can come in this. Okay. No. Event type, I think I already commented. Activity type, I think already commented. Okay, so yeah. So new content will be the data which I'm getting from the API, and I want to add like what I did, right? So I'll say last activity. So the URL gives me this data. Its response is okay. I'm converting this data to JSON and passing this to my README. And now my README gets this data, and I'm going to say this data would be of type last activity, or this, convert this to Garmin data. And now let's go back to main. Let's okay, this is Garmin data. This won't be an array. So I'll remove this input. I don't want this input to be there because by default, I just want it to be added to the README, right? So it's okay. This is it's okay. I can remove this README content. Where now this is where I can say see the last activity. I need activity name, which was running. Then distance duration. Oh no, I just need duration. I think I can just remove all the other information. You know, this is something else. Oh, there is a steps. Okay. Okay. Let's see steps information, but let's see if it's there. So okay. Oh, there's a steps information as well. How much steps I did. Let's let's add minimum information to start with. And then I can like reiterate, for example, for running, I want to show this information for, let's say, walk. I just want to show how many steps I did, how many for time, how much time I thought. So this is my README content, and now I got this file, and if oh, this looks like something else. I think this should be new content, not this information. So just move this new content to this value to be my new content. I think this is where I wanted to read the README, not so. Let's go ahead and paste it here, and let's go back to the code base. Let's proceed. So this is README content. Okay, so this is empty right now, README path, and we added this README path is here, and README content would be empty. Okay, so we have README path start and the new content. This content will be added, markers not found, README start, README end. And this is it. So we have all the information which we need. And now we have to set this API URL. Now, the question is how to test it. Of course, you can write test for it, or you can just run this action by setting up these values and see if it works. But let's push this for now because I don't think so we have any other information which we don't want to push. I'll remove this type uh, and wait.ts. I don't need this as well. And this is environment example. Like these are the all environment values which are available. So GitHub Actions default environment variable. You can use some of the environment variable without even specifying them as input. So GitHub action path, like there are so many you can you can use. So let's see. I have my input here. I need to change these values. Garmin description and Garmin activities to your README author. It's okay. This is me. Branding, I'll just keep it default. I'm not good with this all this brand colors and everything. Now, before you push with this template, there's one thing which you have to do. You have to actually commit your dist folder as well. And you must be wondering why. I have never done this. Like I've been writing probably Node.js for so long or TypeScript for so long, but I never committed my dist folder. This is to make sure that your action is not doing anything which is harmful, right? If you have a dst code available, I can just, as a user, I can just go ahead and check your dst folder and see, hey, you're not doing anything harmful to steal my information, and it's safe to use this action. Because there has been so many instances where someone tried to do a backdoor attack or to steal some information, which is not good. But yeah, let's go ahead and run this, and I'll say okay, I'll run bundle. So npm my bundle. It will just do format and run package, which is nothing but uh, compiling your code using rollup. And you also have a rollup by default, so you don't have to do anything. So we wrote some line of code, and yeah, we did not use AutoKit for this, right? I think we need it to commit these changes. So yeah, interface Garmin data. The Garmin data is declared but never used. This is good because I think I made some mistake then if I'm not using it. So let's go back to your main.ts. Yeah, that's right, Garmin data. So I have to import it. Import. Change this from types.ts to uh, 3D. I'd say this is Garmin.ts. And this is from / Garmin.js. See, just to name and bundle again. So let's go ahead and add the commit information as well. I think that's one last missing piece. So I can go back here and you see I'm making a commit here. Commit if not duplicate. So I think I can just take this information, which is nothing but executing some scripts. So once this is done, if await readme, and after this I want to execute, or should I do it at some other place? Let's see. Git. And even in this case, I don't need the AutoCAD, right? So let's update readme, read file sync, and if readme content, invalid marker position. So this new reply, username, let's see, okay, we can check. We have action, and this, and I can get from my own repository. So I can go to repositories and this one, because there is an always this one. So I want to use GitHub Action bot. Okay, checking comments. Using the password. I think I can get it from. So there are so many actions to use it. I think I can get it from one done, maybe. Yeah, so I can. Yeah. Oh, much information. Right. We can send this one. Sorry, I just need the email and name and email for GitHub bot. That's what I'm looking at right now. But what is this? Oh, this is default available. Let's see. There was the environment. And start with it here. Yeah, commit name and commit email. So I can take this and use some. continue. So GitHub Actions bot. So this will be done against this. So change this, and then connect to here. Okay, this looks pretty much it. So if I have README content, I think I should move this information. Because README content here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's run this again. Do you have DRC folder created for now? It's already 6. Execute sync. So I need to get execute sync. Let's see. Child process. So hopefully this is the last warning we have. And before I push, let's do one more thing. Let's change our GitHub action because this is the workflow. So I don't want to run the test for now because I know like I haven't run any test. So CI and npm CI lent test. So I want to remove test. Test is fine. And we also never used toolkit. So I think we can remove this for now. I'll just comment this and do this. Maybe we need it in future. So it's interesting why it's saying Garmin data is not used. Garmin data use. Yes, I'm using this, right? So what's interesting. This is Garmin .js, not Garmin .js. This is this file. No. In the seal. Let's see if this works. And in this. Okay. This. Change this. It says argument of type unknown is not assignable to update readme data. Okay. What's missing now, because we are passing this as data, we can change this to running data. Now this should match. Okay. Steps does not exist on type Garmin data. Okay, this is interesting. I thought steps exist. Yes, it does. Last activity dot steps. Let's see. It's not coming out. Garmin last activity. Okay, because type Garmin data. So this is so I'm just not using the correct type as the activity distance, duration, and steps. Now it should go. Yeah, it should go. And I know this does not, as this is going to be compiled in JavaScript anyways, the types does not matter, but this will end up giving us undefined values or null values. Let's see. I hope we don't get any warnings now. Let's do this. Okay, let's commit this and see what happens with that push. Sorry, comment. And let's do commit. And we have to wait. Mail almost activity and need to readme. And let's push. So this is it. We created our action. We added our code, and now let's see what happens. So here I am Garmin API, Garmin to readme. So for now, of course, my main branch isn't protected because I want to still push some commits. And so we got GitHub action test to fail. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it says the action is not running locally because, of course, we have to pass the correct information, right? So we have to go ahead and change some information on our what's that section.yml, and so it runs using this, and there is this. It is, let's see. Let's see. Where is this milliseconds being passed from? Yeah, GitHub workflows, right? So we have to change this and say, hey, this is Garmin API already. So let's go ahead and change it to action time. Garmin workflow. Let's look. So I'll say Garmin API variable is, for example, right now HTTP is API, for example. Okay. Let's see if there is any other action which is failing. So GitHub action test. Okay, this failed. TypeScript test. I think I lint. So let's run lint. Let's fix it. Lint, fix. Oh, it's no lint flag passed. Okay. Hey, Pratham, how are you? Long time. I hate this Windows. How are you, Pratham? It's been long, long time. And thanks for joining. Doing great. Expected any. Okay. So I'll just disable this. This file to reduce some errors. And then this file. Yeah, it's been and disable line. Okay. How's your job search going? Have you found any leads? Yeah, I mean, so I was actually mentioning this in the start. So there are so many things which we want to do one day, but we always have something else which is more priority. And like building GitHub Action is one of them. And for me now, the next thing which I have to do is probably build an VS Code extension. Okay, so let's see. So hope CI does not complain about anything now. And it adds so many checks by default. So you see if there is a check to get, or you check your DST folder. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you get something soon. So yeah, Pradyuman is a good friend. So in case anyone is having deferral, check out or reach out to Pradyuman on LinkedIn or maybe X if you're still using it. Mm, what is my internet? Here is Pradyuman Saraf. So if you're hiring or looking for a referral, to reach out to him on LinkedIn. He'll be a very good fit for your organization, I'm sure. Cool. So let's go back to our CI. Okay, there are some steps which is failing. So TypeScript test, GitHub action test, and I don't know. So it says fetch failed, of course, because um, I'm just calling it a me API and it does not exist. So I have to add something which exists. Let's see. Because okay, so go to script, check tst ci.yaml. This is for test action, and I think this works now. Code base. So let's see if there was linter error as well, because it was GitHub Actions. Okay, you can see the linter error. What's the error here? GitHub Actions, not environment. GitHub Actions. Okay, so it says time. Oh, okay, interesting. Time is not defined because, of course, I'm not using it. So let's go ahead and fix this as well. System print output. No, I don't want to. Okay, so I'll try to fix this anyways offline, and maybe try with my real API to see if I can get some information and add it to my README. But let me show you the steps which you need to do to publish this on Marketplace once you have written your action, right? So once you have this, you can just go back to the code and you can click a draft, a release. So right now, of course, my action is not complete, but I can still go ahead and publish it for testing purpose. If you need to be verified, I think that's some thing which you have to, in case you don't have a verified account or you don't have 2FA, you won't be able to publish it. But there is a message which comes in, so you have to check that. And this is my action.yaml. So this all information is actually coming from action.yaml, which we discussed about. And primary category, you can choose what it is. So I'll say, okay, this is community. And this is, do we have anything called sports? No. Yeah, time tracking. So I'll say this community, and then you can choose a tag. You can create a new one. So I'll say, okay, this is one. And then you can generate release note. What is the functionality your GitHub Actions offers? So this one is pretty simple, Pradyum. So what I'm trying to do is get your data from Garmin, last activity, and just add it to your README. And maybe I can read it, and based on what type of activity it was, you can add, like for running, like this is how much you ran, like in this much time, this many kilometers. And if you're walking, then you say, okay, you walk this many steps in this many minutes, right? And there is another one which I published few days back, which is called sponsorship green squares, which can add, which actually the idea was like you get a commit for every sponsorship you make on GitHub, right? So it's like you are doing Git open source, but in different way, right? You are actually supporting someone, but you're not directly doing it. So it's like just gamifying it, so people feel good, right? So that, oh, I'm doing some contribution in some way possible. So that was the idea behind this sponsorship green squares, which is already there. I'm already using it for my purpose. And if you want to try it out, just go ahead and do that. And this is just a new one. So I was thinking, like, let's create another one and do a live stream to show. And then, of course, I'm going to do it as pre-release, sorry. And then I can just go ahead and publish, use my password. So my password is dot, 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 dot. Yeah, you can copy it. And then it will publish this action, which will be available on Marketplace now. So once this is available, you start seeing this button, view on Marketplace. And you can, of course, you need to update your README, and anyone who wants to use it can go to this, use latest version, and then copy this information into their own action, and everything will work. So this is it. I think I'll just go ahead and fix the GitHub action and everything which is failing, and try it with my own data to see if I'm able to add something to README or not. And yeah, probably I'll see you for the next stream. I'm not sure when, but I'll see like what else I want to build online, and see I'll try to be much more active doing streams now. And uh, glad to see all of you. It's been a long time, and um, connected with you after so many months, and hope you had a good start to 2025 so far. And reach out to me on LinkedIn or X or Blue Sky. I'm pretty much active on LinkedIn and Blue Sky nowadays. So if you need anything, just let me know. Bye, everyone.